Hello you lovely people. Now wherever you may be watching this, whether it is on my TikTok page or over on my YouTube channel, I've got a fantastic product for you here. This is the empty box, I must say. I've already unboxed it and I'll show you why in a minute. But yeah, this little handheld, guys, is brilliant. If you are on a budget for an emulation device, a handheld, this is really going to interest you, because not everybody wants to spend a bloody fortune on a Steam Deck or something, do they? No, they don't. And there's a hell of a lot of handhelds out there. On Amazon, on Temu, AliExpress, wherever you've been looking. And it's very hard sometimes to decide whether to get that handheld or not, because you might just end up with a pile of crap that only plays NES games. Yeah. There's a hell of a lot of them, guys, and anything past that, it struggles. Well, it's finding the right one, isn't it? A budget handheld that can do just about everything you'd want it to do. Now, as long as you're not wanting to play a hell of a lot of Dreamcast or anything past that, you should be alright with this little baby here. It is called the XF43. That is its model number. And as you can see from the picture here, it is a very, what would you say? Yeah, Nintendo Switch Lite. Yeah, that's what springs at you, isn't it? And it gets even more like that when you get to these analog sticks here, because they're pretty damn good on a cheap console. But how much did I actually pay for this thing? Well, it's just over 30 quid, guys, to buy this. Now, I had all sorts of vouchers from TikTok, and I ended up only paying $16.99 for it. But yeah, if you want to go out there and grab yourself the 64 gig model, which does come with a 64 gig memory card, absolutely jam-packed with content for you, with games for you. So you're straight out of the box, you're playing. You don't even need to have a PC in the house to transfer some games over, because they're all there. And I'll tell you what, there is a hell of a good selection on there. So yeah, just over 30 quid to buy this little handheld. Now, as you can see, guys, it's a very nice looking thing. Like I said, very Nintendo Switch Lite looking. And you can see already here, guys, that included in this box is a carry case. You've got a screen protector and all the gubbins to go with it to put it on. Not that I have, because obviously this is brand new. I've played with it for about a day just to see what it's like, so that I could give you a very fair review here. Now, on the back, we've got some dirty grape stickers there. You can see, again, the console underneath the grape dirty sticker. But here, I'll bring that in a bit so you can see, kind of, even though the sticker's over it, what you can actually expect from this little unit. Now, I'm not telling you that this can go and play, like I said, PS2 or anything like that. No, if you want that kind of quality, you've got to pay a bit more money for it, haven't you? And on the sides, it just has that. There we go. And the different colour choices that you can go for. There we are. I went for the white. So there, with a 64 gig sticker on it. So yeah, there we are. Recall your childhood. Share the happiness. Now, that is a phrase for the day, isn't it? Eh? Recall your childhood. And we always like to share a bit of happiness, don't we? Well, but that's it for the box. There we go. Throw him over there. Because what comes out of the box is literally this here. Now, this is actually the manufacturer's symbol. So that's pretty cool that this case comes with that symbol on there. So that is fantastic. And I love this case. It's very hard. It's going to protect your little handheld very nicely with its red zip there and the black. I love it. Absolutely love it. And then, of course, you've got the older strap here. And that symbol in blue just really suits it. But what do you get in here when you open it up? Because you're going to think to yourself, wow, did I just get a carry case for 16? Well, in my case, $16.99. For 32 quid? That's an expensive carry case, isn't it? But no, guys, it's all in here. All been thrown into this case, which is quite nice, because as you can see when you open it up, there we are, you've got all your gubbins here, you've got your screen protector, the bits to put the screen protector on, you've got yourself a manual there, you've got yourself a C cable, and down here in the lower part is a very kindly reminder, apparently, telling you that they're very pleased that you bought it and all that gubbins. Yeah, just the same thing on the other side. Put that aside, and they even put in a bit of this, guys, to protect the unit while it's travelling to your home. I do love that. That is very Ambonic. They always put a piece of foam on top to protect their unit, so that is very, very good. Now there's obviously the beautiful little handheld, and I'll tell you what, it is a little beauty. It absolutely is, especially if you only want to play up to competently, really, N64. A hell of a lot of the N64 games we'll play, but of course we all know that because of the whole N64 ethos and its bloody architecture, it is very hard to emulate at the best of times on even the most powerful of emulation devices. So it's good that you can play any of them, to be fair. And here, like I said, we have the cable, which is a pretty damn long one. Yeah, that is not bad size cable, that, guys. It really isn't, so that's cool. And you get your screen protector, like I said. There we are, with all its gubbins to put it on, you know, the dust crap and whatever, get it all off, and your wipes and whatever. So that's brilliant. And then of course you've got your book, and apart from the machine, that is your lot. But what else do you possibly need? You got it all, haven't you? So yeah, let's have a look at this book. It might well be in Pigeon English, sorry about that. That is my cat giving her opinion on everything as well. So yeah, you can see it's just the usual kind of menu, you know, manual, you know what I mean. So right, that's that. So then we get to the baby itself. Now you do have that strap. Now I don't like those straps. Oh, they just make it hard when you've got analog sticks. It just catches on it and you think you're going to rip the bloody analog stick off. But it's a cool case nonetheless, and we're going to put him aside as well. So right, now we're on to the actual unit itself. As you can see, it's a very nice looking thing, it really is. The only thing I don't really like too much is the D-pad, because it all seems to be in one instead of the separates like it usually would have, you know, on a more expensive unit. I mean, it does its job, don't get me wrong, it does its job. These analog sticks feel lovely. I do like them a lot. And I love on this white here how they use the red, the yellow, green and blue on the action buttons. I do like that. Here's your volume up and down. They're right up here looking like a Nintendo Switch again, isn't it? Yeah. And down here you've got some other buttons there like start and select. And then this is the good bit, shoulder buttons, and they are nice and clicky. Lovely. And you've got two sets, so that is fantastic as well. When you turn the unit round, that is what you got there, a mono speaker. Yeah, don't expect fantastic sound from this thing, but again, remember the price of it. But that is not a real speaker, that is fake. You only got a mono speaker on here. But again, look at that, how comfortable that will feel in the hand. And then on the top we have obviously your power, which is a C, which is absolutely fantastic. You've got a headphone jack there. You have an OTG, which is basically to plug any old thing you want to plug into there. For instance, if you've got a controller you would like to use and kind of use this as a screen instead of as a handheld. And of course we have a mini HDMI, so you can plug this thing into the TV. Unfortunately that lead does not come with it. And in the middle there we have the power on and off, and I'm going to get to that, guys, because that is, in my opinion, the only kind of negative. Yeah, I'll get to that. And there's your SD slot. And like I said, this one came with a 64 gig micro SD card, and it was preloaded to the limit. So yeah, absolutely brilliant in that sense. For a cheap little device, that is wicked. So you can feel the form factor is beautiful. Those shoulder buttons sit on your fingers nicely, and it is just, yeah, nice weight to it. It has a battery that lasts about 6 hours. So yeah, nothing drastic, but yeah, who's going to play it longer than 6 hours in one sitting, let's face it. So yeah, brilliant. Now we'll get into that power switch, guys. The only way to turn this thing on is by the power switch, obviously. So there we go. And it does take a little while to come up, there we go. There's all the different colours there. And of course you've got lights around the sticks, and you can change them in the setting to just one colour, or like I have here, I've got multiple colours. So yeah, they just flash all different colours at me, and I like that. So you hear that pop, guys, that pop is actually the speaker, so it does that every single time. Now from what I can gather from other people, they just do that. So yeah, bit iffy in it, but the speaker isn't exactly brilliant on this thing at the best of times. Now, before we get into all this, guys, because this is a Linux-based machine, and it is running Emulation Station, which is absolutely fantastic, of course. What a brilliant way to go. But here we go, guys. Right, how are we going to turn this off? Now, normally, on a Linux device, you would go here, like this. And then you get this menu coming up here, and it just says quit and all that. But if you go down there, let's have a look, go to quit. As you can see in this menu, by the way, you've got a scraper and all that kind of thing, so you can get all the album artwork, although most of it is already on there if you get the 64 gig model. So that is, yeah, I mean, it's good to have it there if you want to add your own games to it. But there we go with the quit, and I'm going to press that, and then it goes to shut down system. So restart Emulation Station and shut down system, and you press that. And go, okay, yes, there we go. And that's it. It's off, right? Yeah. And the machine just reboots. So you can see, you have to physically, to actually get it to properly turn off, you've got to turn it off at the switch. Now, there's only one problem with that, and I will show you what that is. So, right, let's switch it off. There we go, it's off now. Now, normally, it would go into sleep mode and barely use any battery, and that would be fantastic. Just turn it back on and carry on that way. But now here you've got to redo it every single time you power it off. There doesn't seem to be a sleep mode as far as I'm aware. Now this is the most negative thing about this handheld, is that you've got to go through this every single time you turn it on and off. So it goes to the load again, then Emulation Station has got to load up separately. There we go. Look, it's just flashing it through again. I mean, it's nothing, it's not a killer thing or anything. I mean, it's not going to put you off completely, but it's something to be aware of, that you do have to physically turn it off at the top there. Now, as you can see, guys, got a lot of things on here. You've got MAME, which is of course arcade. If we go this way, you've got your favourites, where you can store all the ones you love to play the most. Then you have this one here where it says all games, so you can go in there and just look at everything that's on here. But there's a bit of a drag, guys, because there's a lot on here. But then you can just go to the individual consoles. Oh, there's a user guide. There you go. Look, you can see, look, PSP, guys, PlayStation. You've got just about everything on here. Neo Geo, Dreamcast. As I say, a few games will play, but don't bank on everything. And it goes on and on, guys. Mega Drive, Game Gear, it just goes on. I'm not going to read them all to you because you can see for yourself. Now, what this is perfect for, in my opinion, is the Game Boy Advance games, because of the form factor. It was the best design of the Game Boy Advance, let's face it, to look a bit like this. But of course it had that crap screen in it, so to be able to play the Game Boy Advance games on a beautiful modern screen like this, and it is a beautiful screen. I mean, look at that. You don't lose anything tilting it and what have you. Obviously, sunlight might be a difficulty, because every screen bloody is in the sun. Game Boy Color, and it goes on, guys. N64, there we go. So yeah, it goes on and on and on. So absolutely blinding. And then back round to MAME. There we go, yeah. Now, I'm not going to show you gameplay because that's probably going to come up in the end, but I can tell you now that everything on here, bar the Dreamcast, plays beautifully. Even the PSP games that are on here play beautifully, and you get a lot of them, guys. Look, just PSP alone. Shall we have a look? There we go. This is just PSP alone, and you can see you've got some bloody great titles there. And I would say, if not all of them, but the majority of them that are on here have been custom done so that they run to their best ability. You're not going to be able to play God of War on here, because that will struggle, because it struggles on most things. But yeah, as such, there is a nice list, and I love the way it says no box art there, but on ones where it does have the box art, let's come back out and go into, for instance, PlayStation, see if that's got a bit more box art to it. Yeah, there we go, look. You can see there, box art is there for most games, and of course you can scrape it if you want to get more, which basically just searches the internet and gets all the album artwork for you. But you can see there, beautiful, and what a selection of games again for PlayStation. So yeah, what a fantastic little handheld, and I will be featuring more of it, playing the different consoles on here in the future. So yeah, I mean, if you're wanting a cheap device that plays all your old retro games, you can't go wrong with this. And like I said, guys, I've spent some time with it now and I'm in love with it. The only thing I'm not in love with is, of course, the D-pad, where it's all in one instead of separates, so it feels a bit odd, but then you can use the sticks anyway. And yeah, that bloody button. Oh, why, you know, maybe I'll suddenly discover a sleep mode, but that is annoying that you have to go through that whole setup process every time you turn the bloody thing off. But wow, what a fantastic little handheld for just over 30 quid, or if you're like me and you got some TikTok vouchers, $16.99 at the moment. So yeah, what a beautiful cheap device to get for yourself, for your kids, for a friend, family, whoever you're going to buy it for. Beautiful little handheld. And with that, guys, I'm going to say goodbye and look out for the future videos of this thing actually playing games. Goodbye.